Hi, everybody. This is Andrew Patno. Thank you for tuning in. I am here doing another podcast. I do apologize for not having done anything in a while. I've been very, very busy. Just ended up moving out of my house and into an apartment. So, just a lot of things going on right now. Thank you again for tuning in. It is, of course, November 27th, 2017. Hopefully, everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. Also had a very good Black Friday. Went and saw a couple of deals and took advantage of them. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I have an article from Infowars.com. YouTube's autocomplete tool shows users profoundly disturbing child sex results when they search for how-to videos. Creepy suggestions include how to have sex with your kids and how to have sex kids. So essentially what is going on here is when you're not signed in into your account on YouTube and you type into the search results how to have S and then X and then you type in kids or you just type in SX and that's it, how to have SX with your kids or excuse me, how to have SX. And what comes up is some rather very disturbing stuff, in one of the screenshots. It doesn't show it here, but if you go to the BuzzFeed article, and there was another great video that was done by Stefan Molyneux. He covered this just last night, and basically what comes up in the search results is how to have, sex with your kids, how to have sex with kids, et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, this is what's going on with YouTube. So there's a part of YouTube that's going out and silencing all these conservative speakers. I myself have tried numerous times of trying to develop a podcast and trying to make a name for myself and have been thwarted through the algorithmic system that is YouTube and also have been demonetized despite the fact that I only have like 50 subscribers. That's it. And still I got demonetized for stuff. So yeah, I mean they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna demonetize as many conservatives as they possibly can, but when it comes to pedophilia, well that's seems to be a-okay over in YouTube. So yeah, I mean this is just something if you have kids, I don't myself. I'm completely single, no wife, no kids, but if I had kids, I'd be very, very wary on the time they spend on YouTube because it's pretty disturbing stuff. So, anyways, moving on. Uh, Here's another pretty whacked out, disturbing story out of the Sun. This has to do with the upcoming sex robot craze that men are engaging in. All dolled up, sex robot craze sparks rise of digisexuals where randy men will only sleep with dolls, experts warn. Now, this new high-tech sex dolls can speak, interact, and even simulate orgasms. The craze for sex robots will lead to a growing number of men whose only sexual and romantic relationships will be dolls, academics say. And I'm not going to read the entire article, but I'm going to read a little teeny bits of snippets just to give you an idea of what's going on here. I found this pretty interesting. These robots will be tailor-made to meet people's desires and will do things that human partners cannot or will not do. Now, I read somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where it was, that some of these sex robots are even designed to simulate rape. I mean, so if you're going to go and engage in sexual activity with such robot, then the robot would behave as if it's being raped. So it's pretty disturbing stuff right there. People will form an intense connection with their robot companions. Our view is that they represent a different sort of sexual experience from what existing technologies offer. For this reason, significant numbers of people will likely come to use robots as their primary mode of sexual experience. Now, I sort of want to kind of highlight this. This was what I kind of was looking for. This is pretty disturbing. For this reason, significant numbers of people will likely come to use robots as their primary mode of sexual experience. Now, here's my question. what's the whole point of sexual experience other than being close to your partner? Well, you want to make babies. You want to provide a way for the human race to continue, right? Now, we've seen this over in Japan where they're having a huge issue with their birth rate. And the kids over there, the millennials over there, are having far fewer kids than their adult counterparts. Now, with the rise of these sex robots, that begs the question on how it's going to accelerate a dying birth rate, not only over in Japan, but over here in the US, now that we're going to have fewer and fewer kids, which I believe is to be the case at some point. I mean, you have these movements, you have the feminist movements where, yeah, I'm a woman, I don't need a man, I don't need, to have kids, I can go and have this career where I'm making millions of dollars. At least that's sort of the fantasy that feminists sells to these teenage women that, listen, you don't need a man, absolutely not. But and of course, you got this other end of the spectrum. You got the MGTOW movement. That's sort of the same thing. You don't need these feminazis. You don't need these women. All these women do is go around and sleep with each other and this, that, and the other thing. All you need to be concerned with is to to focus on your career and make as much money as you possibly can. Now, I for one am not criticizing MGTOW for this. I think MGTOW have some legitimate complaints given the fact that the females in this country do sort of run the court system, if you know what I mean. In any divorce, the female or the wife, the ex-wife, usually has the upper hand, whereas the men in that paradigm usually get screwed at the end of the day, and that's how the court system works. And so, yeah, MGTOW, they definitely have a legitimate complaint, and this is sort of the solution for the MGTOWs out there that want to engage in sexual activity, but don't want the commitment of being in a relationship, or just don't feel like dealing with women's crap. You know what I mean? And going back to feminism now, this can work both ways. You can have sex female robots, but you can sort of have sex male robots, and I'd be interested to see whether or not if that will be a product that will be coming out in the near term future as this sort of thing starts to take off. Now, going from that into something completely different and yet sort of related from a pedophile point of view and all sorts of stuff. Now, I know this is kind of a sketchy website, so I do apologize. Kind of strange looking, but I claim to seal indictments now 2,524 in 49 out of 94 federal districts. Now, I also read somewhere, and this is rumor, and rumor only, I cannot confirm this, but there are over 4,000 sealed indictments that I'm reading. Again, that is rumor, so take it as that, but the situation here is the number of indictments are mounting. The pressure is building against the Clinton cabal and against the deep state in general. I think a lot of people argue that, yeah, Donald Trump is just one of them, and he's just pandering to them or to the deep state, and he's working with them. Or there's a lot of negative connotations between Donald Trump and who Donald Trump really is, and to the deep state, that people sort of forget that Donald Trump isn't the face of this movement. Or he's the face of this movement in terms of being in government, yes, but he's not the movement. People look at him as, oh, he's the movement. He's the guy who's going to change everything. No, he's not the movement. If Donald Trump were to leave office right now, and he were just to resign, quit, whatever, impeachment, Miller finds a way to indict him, whatever happens, there's going to be another guy waiting in the wings to take over Donald Trump's spot. So Donald Trump isn't the movement. The movement is still alive and well, even without Donald Trump. Now, going back to these indictments, it's pretty clear to me that based upon the Mueller investigation, that John and Tony Podesta are snap dab in the middle of it. They're in the crosshairs of this. And I'll be probably, let me just make this prediction. I would be surprised if there isn't a major arrest come Christmas time of this year. I'd be surprised. Now, yes, I understand that you can have these indictments and yet not act upon them and just ignore the indictments if they so choose. However, 2,500 indictments, 49 out of 94 federal districts, that is saying something, and there is an energy building. So we'll see if it will be charges and there'll be handcuffs on people. We'll see if that happens. So thank you for tuning in. This was a little longer than I expected. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.